seen them return to season 3 because they had to buy. So yeah, Joe, which I believe is Sato, is going to take the first chase onto Kashi on this top side, but it's in really deep in this corrupt, and Cash just gets the stun here. So really nice stuff here to start the first chase.
Yeah, definitely. And as we continue, we do get mind gamed. That one, unfortunately, getting tagged is Cash. Joe trying to capitalize on it now for a quick 2-tap. Not quite getting the blind is Cash. And now we're going to be bouncing off these trees, trying to make sure that we can get a nice little flick. And just the crouch tech there by Cash, able to bite him some time to make that mid-2 filler, the dumpster filler, pre-dropping that pallet. And now will he loop around this or no? Will he move down more towards the 4 side over where to the uncorrupted generators are? We're going to be trying to bounce around this tires, and then we're just going to be hitting this pallet, breaking it in the process. Cash rather, running more towards these L&T wars, going to be looping the outside of the T wall. Is going to be able to get caught off guard, and unfortunately going down, not quite making the window, and that will be a first hook of the trial going on to Cash. And he just keck vaulted that window. I did see that.
And that is actually a huge kick ball coming in, because that means this gen cannot possibly be stopped with the kick, because yeah, that just wasted just enough time for the generators to reach 100%. So man, Hunter, that is the first of season 3, and I don't think I'll forget it.
No, yeah, definitely. And now with the first hook on the trial, we're going to be scouring the map to see if we can see any stealth edge map survivors. We do find Sizz in the process, pre-dropping the pallet over at 6. Sorry. Now we're not going to opt to chase hit. Not going to opt to chase Sizz. I think we're going to go all the way back down to try and tunnel out Cash, get a nice quick tunnel out, which is exactly what you really want in this point in time when you're setting the win con like this. There's a little bit of a sprint, a little bit of a speed boost there. I do believe that is Babysitter. Now we're going to be breaking the door into main, continuing on this chase, which I'm not too sure if main was being worked on at this point, and it has been. We do find Nu, who is able to stealth around the car. I think he's going to try and protect Cash in this scenario. Not too sure if he's behind this. No, he's not actually. I thought he ran into the main building, but he was never there. Now we're just going to be continuing on the chase onto Nu, who will be running out of the main building. We're getting a little bit lost in the process. I'm getting a little bit lost in the process. Not quite getting the stun there. Going to be trying to loop this pallet outside of main, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a longer chase here, Tavi. Oh, I do say that, and we get tagged.
Yeah, that was a beautiful tag there from Sato, just over that little bit. I wasn't actually aware that you could hit through that, but Cash, I think they're completely happy with this tag and down here, because Cash, which is a tunnel out, got completely lost by Babysitter, which I think is ridiculous, honestly. My opinions on Babysitter post the buff in 2024 being like ridiculously strong perk. 30 seconds of pretty much you can't catch a survivor, even against like a blight. It's kind of ridiculous, but seems like Cash has actually managed to rotate and complete Shack here, and yeah, Babysitter value Hunter is just ridiculous, and I think Sato is like realistically lost any chance of getting 4K here, but we'll see, because if he can get a quick chase onto Cash in the upcoming little bit here, if Cash is found, of course, then could actually resume the timeout onto him. But it seems like for now he is kind of willing to protect these generator setup here, but really at this point he's pretty spread thin, and yeah, even this bottom side generator is being worked, so I don't think he's going to have anything remaining of a 3-gen left in, well, the final few moments of the trial. But Sizz going into the Delhi trade here, and the ping not really going to work out for him, so that's going to be quite nice for Satoru.
Yeah, quite unfortunate not being able to get that save squat free, just allowing us to really force this tunnel out onto Nu as quickly as possible. And yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to note, Tavi, that yes, Babysitter being a very strong perk was able to reset the tunnel, and now we have a whole new tunnel that we have to get out of the game, and it's not going to be Cash, it is going to be Nu, so it's bought us a whole lot of time to get these generators done in the background. Now Nu going to be having the chase of his life here, running to the active, pre-dropping this pallet over at 10, vaulting it as well. He's going to be losing his tunnel out in the jungle gym now, and Sizz still on the floor. There is a generator popping in the background over at 5, Cash able to run away from 10, and I do say we're going to see the pickup onto Sizz here, which is going to spell trouble for our killer. Now, what does he do here? Does he commit to the tunnel out? Yes, he does. He does commit to the tunnel out onto... sorry, not the tunnel out. He commits to the injured survivor, Sizz, who will be running away. He has lost the tunnel out twice this game, unfortunately. He's lost Nu and he's lost Cash, so this is proving to be very difficult for him. This allows them to get reset in the background, And now we have a whole new stage on the board. Now you just got, now you just got to play for freshers at this point in time. I think we're looking somewhere more towards a 6 to 7 stage win con at this point. Tavi, I just don't see him really pulling this back to being 4K1. Definitely not 4K2 after seeing how much that generator has been progressed over in. I do believe that is main. And the 1 at 10.
Yeah, I mean, Survivor's doing a really good job here, you know, just abusing that babysit early game to just, you know, get all the freshers in, and it's kind of ridiculous, I would say, on the Blight getting such a low stage performance here on the Gas Heaven, because I would have just assumed that Blight on any map can perform well, but I mean, yeah, Sato has just been spread quite thin here, and it seems like even his perks aren't going to be able to save him from an inevitable outs performance, but he's just scouting the map, I think, at the moment. I'm trying to find out this stuff at the main building. I don't think he will be able to find anyone here, though, because they managed to stop away really nicely, so it could have been Metro Fixated, but we won't know for that. Look at that, actually, Cash Edge map, beautiful little stealth there around the back of main, but yeah, Sato just struggling. I don't really think he's made any kind of mistakes this match, but I guess the babysitter onto Cash from Andrew, I could barely even call that a mistake, Hunter. If you're trying to chase a survivor that's moving faster than you, not leaving any scratch marks after you have to break a breakable wall, I'm struggling to say that's a mistake here. But yeah, Sato definitely not looking at the highest of stages at the moment, but does actually manage to find new, so maybe resume some kind of tunnel out process.
Yeah, and hopefully get more stages on the board. I did think that main had a little bit more progress on it, but unfortunately not. I think when we switched, it was so quick that I thought it was main, but it turned out to be 10 because there's no pressure on the board at the moment. No, there's no generator pressure, so we're going to have to look for a healthy survivor and get a tag. Now, do you play for the tags or do you commit something? In my eyes, you just need to find you probably need to find someone who's worth the most stages, and at this point in time, it is Sizz. He is worth the most, so if we can kill him and get him out of the trial, that'll be around 6 stages if we can camp him to death, but we have found new. So like you said, we can try to resume this tunnel out, but I do presume that there will be generator progress in the background, so we've got to try and get this quick tag onto Nu, who will be running all the way down to 5, not quite vaulting that window quite just yet. I think that had to do a little bit ping there. There was just a little bit of ping involved. And we do see 3 survivors in main. My God, we're going to be able to catch them. Oh my God. Okay, so they have made it away in time. Thank goodness. So now we're just going to be applying Eruption onto that generator over in main, and now we do have a nice little 3-gen to be working with, Tavi. I mean, it's not too bad. Maybe we can get someone down someone and potentially just camp out the hook, but in all honesty, I don't just see it with a team with such high of caliber as Gospel. I think they're a really good team. I think they'll be able to pull through and get some stages out the door. But as we see that, we're going to be seeing Joe just break that pallet. Pre-dropping it is Sizz, who's going to be taking chase all the way down to the mid side of the map. Well, not side, but just in the middle of the map. And he has this nice little car filler he can work with, a very short filler. So he's able... Oh my God, it just swinging at that. Unfortunately, not quite getting the tag onto Sizz. But getting the stun is Sizz, and he's going to be able to make all the way down to Shaq. And there's a lot of resources being used in this match. So now we're going to be going back to our 3-gen, trying to catch out anyone who's just been working and quite out of position. But no, yes, they are very smart. They are pre-leaving accordingly. And there's a lot of generator progress on this 2 side of the map, Tavi.
Exactly, and I think Sato would be completely surprised to see this generator pop, because I was too seeing that generator on 80%. He's completely invested into downing Cash here, and that gen just pops in the distance. Beautiful stuff from our survivor side of Gospel here, and Cash even has a dead hard to work with in this final chase, and Sizz takes a disconnect. I think that was with an internet thing, which is going to be a really big deal. Now I think about it, that is an additional 3 stages on the Deliverance. So honestly, even if Sato managed to get Sizz, there would be a Deliverance play. So that actually might turn the tides a little bit here in the end game, because now Sato has effectively 6 hooks, and onto Cash now, missing, maybe not using the dead hard there. I'm not sure what happened. Now that's just going to be potential for an 8-stage result, which I think is so much better than what we were looking at before. Maybe we we're looking at low stage 5, but 8-stage definitely doable from Clan Crew here.
That is so unfortunate. I'm about to rip my hair out because I really feel for Gospel in this regard. We're going to have to really look at the rulebook to see what happens there. I do believe all stages do go to the killer, unfortunately, after that disconnect. And that being the fresh hook has really just turned this game on its head now. It's turned it to 8 hooks, 4 fresh. 9 stages is the win con. Can Addict do it? I think he can, Tavi. I have faith in Addict. After seeing how he's played amongst other tournaments and whatnot, and knowing he's been in the region for so long, he definitely is more than capable of 4K'ing this game.
You know what, Hunter? From Season 1, I think the last time we saw Addict play in Season 1, you know what he pulled out of his ass? A 4K5. So I'm pretty sure he is completely capable of getting the 9 stages here. And with this really early tag and fine second tag coming in for Addict, I think this is a really nice start for him. Only 30 seconds have elapsed and Kranku is kind of just giving away these tags for free. So I think it's going to be a fairly early down for Addict. And if he, of course, doesn't get jiggied away from this, but Florida is playing this quite well. So I guess Kranku is not going to be giving this up without too much of a fight, but they get hit through the pallet. So that's a really, really early first down for Addict to try and capitalize on. So yeah, really, really nice start off here. And we kind of want to see what he wants to do with this build. Seems like he has the typical stuff with the Wretched Fate as well. And that should definitely carry him through, but yeah, I mean, it's up to the survivors now, because I think as long as Addict plays this competently on the Blight, I don't think 9 stages is like, oh my god, okay, never mind. Yeah, it's really bad now.
It's doable, and I like it. All right, we've got 2 tags already. There's a hook and 2 tags, and there's not a single generator been popped. This is exactly what you need if you're on the side of Addict. If you're on the side of Gospel, he's going to be continuing on this chase onto our Nancy, doing a little bit of clean bumps amongst these like rocks and trees, and just downing Nancy in the process. Now going back towards the hook to make sure that nobody gets the unhook. No generators at the moment. You did see the eruption proc onto the mid. We do see somebody rotating for the unhook as well. And it is our Tori here. Crazy AF. Can he go Crazy AF? No. Unfortunately going down at that Z wall. There's 1 survivor left in the trial. 4K5, Tavi. You did say it could happen. But they have picked up the Nancy. They have picked up not Snorlax. Okay, I'm just going to call you Snorlax. I'm pretty sure that is your name. But we have picked up Snorlax. Geo. Picking up Snorlax has definitely turned the table for his survivor team. How do you come back from this? What's the next move?
I mean, what's the next move? I think the next move is you try and jiggity everything, because at this point in time, you have a Death Hook still on hook at 5 generators remaining. Of course, they get out hook right now, and doesn't really matter. I mean, like, no generators popped, and the eruption is just gonna make its way that mid-gen, and this down over as well, coming onto Snorlax. Gonna be really nice for Addict. Actually, he takes a fresh hook pick as well, completely ignoring this time out. So yeah, I mean, our survivors, realistically, even if they want to try and pop all of the generators, Addict kind of knows that all he needs is, you know, a couple of additional stages onto what he has right now. Because right now, I think he has confirmed the 3rd right now, and that's kind of stupid. But yeah, I mean, you kind of like reset the entire trial with like the eruption and all the gen pressure that he hasn't even finds a reset. So I mean, it's just gonna be another free tag for Addict. So I think, I mean, 4K5, yeah, it could be possible, but it's kind of giving me vibes from last week where you saw like a Hong from Renewal try and get some stuff. Oh my god, our survivors are just not getting the rotations through. So yeah, this is just really, really bad, Hunter.
It is really bad. It is quite given a Hong vibes from Renewal. Definitely, like you said, Tavi, and now taking this tag onto Claudette, who will be working this short pallet inside of main, this godforsaken pallet, but dropping it, not greeting it, and that's just going to be Claudette down. You just can't really pre-drop that pallet. I know they were playing for the stun, but unfortunately not quite getting it. I know Addict was definitely going to play around that all day, every day, and we do see Geo come in for the unhook. I don't think he makes it before they hit second, and yeah, unfortunately hitting second is that Nancy. There's still 5 gens remaining. This is looking very dire for this team. There's 5 hooks, so we've already met the, as you'd put it, it's almost the Tycon for what could have been. You know, it's 4 hooks too fresh at the moment. 5 hooks too fresh at the moment. I think he's at this point in time, he definitely is able to beat the win con that was set for him. And I say beat as an understatement. He's absolutely thrashing it, and now downing Snorlax. He's going to be picking Snorlax up and hooking Snorlax, and I dare say he's just going to go back to where this pickup was, Tavi. We see a little bit of the spectator bug. This is the hunter bug for all you guys who don't know. You know, when you switch from the killer to a survivor, when you're hooking in the custom games, you are met with the killer staring at the hook essentially, and you're not able to do anything about it until there's a tag or something happens in the game. I'm not quite too sure how the bug works, to be honest, but we're going to be seeing Geo just loop Casper the friendly ghost, now pre-dropping the pallet outside of main, and as soon as they say he's going to be getting tagged, no, this is a bump rush. You're seeing 2 bumps onto the car, and I think he's still invisible, Tavi. I'm just thinking, what is happening at the moment? I can't cast over this. I don't know what's happening. Let's just see.
Oh, and seems like Geo's just gonna take them down. And the one thing, the one thing that I don't know what to do, Hunter, is that when I'm filling in the sheets, I have like this category, right? And the category is called first gen time. And see, this is the problem, because in this situation, I don't really know what to do, because I can't really discount the set, right, because it was played, but do I say that the generator first generator is taking infinite time here, because Clan Crew is just getting absolutely demolished here on Blind. Like, I just feel like their rotations just were not coming in through, and like they were just not stealthing or something, and they're just giving away too many tags. Attic just being able to snowball this into a 4K5 is just absolutely criminal and insane, but at least they do get a survivor off the hook, so it's gonna still technically leave a fighting chance for Clan Crew, but realistically, Mr. Crazy AF here has to go for a 5-gen chase here, and also get out of the door if he wants to try and meet the 9th stage win condition. Actually, no, hold on. He needs to get out of the door, and also our engine also needs to get out of the door, which is not really realistic. So he's going to take the first of 2 injuries that is required, and continue to play out his jungle dream. Hopefully he gets dropped now. He does have a few connecting powers to play this out, but Addict just going to be really confident here on the bump logic. Beautiful little set of dashes there. So I think Addict, yeah, I think Addict's just going to feel really confident on the bite here, but realistically, it's going to be up to this peak second set, where we'll see a little bit more action perhaps from Clan Crew.
For those watching at home, this is the masterclass Blight lesson that you all love to see. Just absolutely beautiful from Addict to be able to pull up what seems like is going to be a 4K5, maybe a 4K4 if we get that generator in main done. If Adam Geo does commit the generator and he hears it. I don't think he makes it. Wait. No, he was scared of the door breaking. He probably just could have commit that. No, I'm just not too sure how much was progressed on that generator, but nevertheless going to be taking the chase, the final chase onto Geo. This is a 4K5, and you love to see it. You love to see it if you're the side of Gospel. We're going to be getting that quick down onto Geo, and that is the 4K5 secured. Now, like you said, we can only really hope in the pig set that they can pull things back, Clown Crew, but it being Gospel's pick, I know they're very confident on Midwich, so it's definitely in their favor. It's definitely in the favor of Gospel, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, I think what we will do here is we'll take a short intermission. We'll be right back with you with the pick on Midwich, and don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We can only really presume. You can only really presume from the scrims that have been tested and whatnot, and we do see Sizz load in now. He's going to be walking over to this top 12 side. Survivors spawning at the bottom. We noticed that they spawned with the traps on their heads. Tavi, what is that add-on that makes you spawn, like, you spawn in with the traps on your head? What is that add-on?
I believe it is the
purple one?
Will. I believe, is it the Erie? No, wait, it is the purple one. Okay, then I don't know what it's called, but that's just gonna be really nice. This is the thing, Hunter. The thing that makes Pig extremely frustrating in comp, especially if you look at the current situation here with all the head traps on, is the RNG of the boxes here, because the gear boxes really kind of force the survivors to delay first down as soon as possible, well, for as late as possible, to force the survivor, of course, when they get unhooked, try and have as much time to get the head trap off. But now with all of them on, it's kind of like, now it doesn't really matter how long it takes the first down. But it's actually getting a little bit greedy swings through the pallet, but definitely with, I think, this whatever this gearbox add-on is that forces all the head traps on, I think our survivors are not going to have a fun time here in the Midwich, and there's going to be a fairly early first tag here from Chia, but luckily they did spend a good amount of time here, so they're still managing to play out this chase, which is really nice. But Sizz actually might be able to get a 2-tap here, and yeah, forced away to this unsafe pallet. I think this is going to be a fairly early fast down.
We might be able to see a little bit of a flick here. No, Chia choosing to opt to just go out of this room and maybe towards that 5 God pallet at the bottom, but no, instead going all the way. I think this is upstairs now. We are looping this long filler here with this really awkward pallet in the middle, but we do have a window to our access, I do believe. I'm not too sure. I didn't really get a good look at that. Yes, it is a window, and Sizz going to be trying to zone Ada away from that window. Able to make the window and able to barely escape that that nice little swing at the window there. We do see a few of the survivors in the background trying to get their traps off via the godforsaken spawns of the trap boxes, but nevertheless, Chia going to be going down to this table pallet over at bottom 11 and bottom 1, sorry, and being picked up in the process. And now this is going to be the first hook of the trial. We do see generators being worked in the background. We do see Claudette working this generator. See, like, this is the confusing thing, is like when you switch from survivor to survivor, you're unable to see if they're top or bottom. You can only really presume which room they're in, unfortunately. This is like, it's a lot different compared to Leary's and whatnot. You're able to really tell, but nevertheless, we're going to be taking this tag onto Ace Joe, who's going to be going up to this top 10 side of the map, pre-dropping the middle pallet. This is a little bit more of a safer loop compared to the other one that was dropped early on in the game. Unfortunately, not making any distance with it because we've kind of been zoned in the back of the tile, in the back of the room, and going down. And now he's just going to go back to the unhooked Tavi and trying to get this tunnel out onto Chia, I do believe.
Absolutely, and that was a really, really bad timing for that generator to pop. You know, right after that that first unhook happened. But I mean, there's kind of nothing they could do because of the rune that was still active. So if they leave the generator 99, guess what? It's gonna go regressing down. And actually, Sid's gonna get some value from Undying here. We did see some value from Brutal as well onto Ace, managing to get the zone there on the top side of 11. But it seems like Undying also going to reveal Nancy's position, and they might just give away a fairly free tag here, because there's no God Power here anymore, so you're just going to have to jiggity away from this Infirmary, and it seems like they're going to just switch targets onto Aida, so that's just going to be a really, really fast second down for them. And now, here's where the game starts to slow down and go in favor of the Pig here, because now, on the Survivors, oh my god, that's a Penty as well, but at the Survivor side, now you have to get your head traps off. All of them are active, and if you don't, then you're just gonna die in 2 minutes. So that is such a bad spot for us to be in. But at least if they're getting the head traps off, that means they're not working generators, and that means that Penty's not going to be getting too much value. But still, really, really tough spot for us survivors. So yeah, oh my god, what is going on?
Trying to 360 the killer and trying to hold them, just not gonna quite work there. Snorlax going to be blinding in the process as well and dropping, but Sizz hearing it, tracking every footstep and playing that absolutely perfectly, even though blind. That is textbook what you want to do after breaking a pallet and being blind right there if you're watching at home. Going to be seeing the survivors in the background trying to get their traps off. Everybody's got a trap on their head. We got one on the hook. I don't think we're going to be seeing any more gens pop Tavi. I think this is pretty much a 4k4 at this point, which is what we're looking at. With that Penty up, with Ruin still active. Ruin's still active, correct? It was Undying that was broken, yes.
Yeah.
So Ruin is still up. We still have Brutal at our disposal. A good thing to note is no Corrupt, so we're playing really aggressive amongst the Snowball, and that seems to be a really recurring pattern with Gospel, is you will see their killers just not bring in Corrupt. It's just really not needed, especially with their playstyles. And now finding the tunnel out, we're going to be getting this really quickly at this down onto Chia, sorry. And now that will spell the death onto them. The only survivor that is still in the trial that can potentially work the generators is Claudette. The others have to start getting their traps off, have to start really sitting back and seeing what they have to work with at this point in time. And the gens are all pretty well clustered. We see was that a triple heal or something? There's 3 survivors all in that one area. We're nevertheless going to be taking the chase over into 11. This will be the Nancy blinding the Pig and now running all the way down to bottom 10. And we do have the gold window. This is really good. So they're able to get the reset off in the background. And I do believe that they all have their traps off, except for Snorlax here, who is in chase. So if you didn't know, if you're in chase, the timer does not tick on your head. So I'm not too sure if this trap is active or not, but nevertheless, we're going to be going down. I don't think it really matters at this point. It's going to be really hard for the survivors to come back from this Tavi.
Yeah, and Sizz just doing a really good job of controlling this 3v1, you know, just like picks out the weak link here. Well, not really weak link, just like the injured survivor, and just, you know, gets that little bit of pressure on the hook. But I think at this point, they'll be extremely grateful to get another generator done. You know, in this position, I think you'll be aiming, if you have a tunnel out already, you'll be aiming at having like only like 1 or even maximum like 2 generators remaining, but like it's yeah, looking like 4 kills at 4 generators territory. As Sizz actually resumed the tunnel out back from the Snorlax. They don't really have any God pallets around here. I mean, 11's still up, but they're kind of zoned away from this, and Sizz knows it. And he's probably going to take a brutal break on this side and force Snorlax away from this. So, I think they're just going to be seeing yet another kill coming in, but oh, Snorlax doing a little bit of the jiggity and forced to play the Library 50s. So Sizz again, kind of just forced to take this chase, and I think it should be eventual that he wins the 50, but Snorlax, okay, showing up on the chase, going to delay the down for a little bit longer and play out this little filler, but I think the distance is going to close in. The Bloodlust picking up in time. Sizz, his debt was too good, he should have paid less money, and I'm going to keep on saying that, even though he gets a brutal break and down, like, that is a good amount of time waste, and it seems like Ace's generator is actually fairly close to being done, so I was actually wrong. Snorlax is not going to be dead, but I guess this is Survivor you want to be chased, because they do have the head trap on, even though it's not going to be active, it's still going to be a little bit annoying, you know, if you're doing the gen, then you have to rotate off, so if you're on the hook, of course it's not going to tick down, so yeah, maybe Kaku can actually force this to a 4k3. Sizz is not going into the detectable though. No, now he does. Yeah, definitely possible at this.
I don't think he's going to be able to get this gen done. Just with Pentimento still up and Ruin still active, this is just going to lose so much progression so much quickly after we spent so much time onto this generator. Now going to be taking the chase onto Joe, who will be taken all the way down to bottom 5 God pallet, but no, Sizz doesn't want any of that. He says he wants the tunnel out so close to the Penti, and he does have 2 totems active at the moment. He does have top 2, and I do believe... No, that's top 3 and top 4, so both fairly active. Getting rid of one leaves the other still up, so he has 2 buffs. Unfortunately, catching the Survivor Taka on that pallet, getting the stun, reverse stun in the process, really nice. But now we do see Ace back on the generator working bottom 3. I think he will be able to get that done now, or maybe I'm mistaken. I'm not too sure what's happening anymore. I can't really keep up with how fast the game is moving because Sizz is just applying the pressure so adequately at this point in time. We're going to be pre-dropping this pallet over at top 1. The generator still being progressed and does pop in the background. That is 4k3 at this point in time. Sizz getting a little bit mind-gamed over at that hole in the ground, but still being able to get the down onto Nancy, and that is the first totem broken by the Claudette. I'm not really too sure how new Penti works, Tavi. Are you able to enlighten me on that?
Yeah, I was reminded by people who play the game more than me that I believe Pentimento doesn't have a really stupidly broken effect now, so I believe the numbers have gone from 30% to 15%, plus every Penti totem that's lit up by 5%. So currently, I think it would be like 15 or 20% at a slower reduction of repairing, but if you do rekindle another one, that's going to add on like 5%, something like that. Doesn't matter. It's still a really, really nice perk to have on the any totem build that is going to be available for killer. But Sizz, yeah, getting this kill here, second one secured here on the Midwich, and I don't really know if our survivors can do anything here. This is kind of like a waiting game until one of them gets LOS, and seems like Satoru did get a direct LOS onto Sizz, so that's just going to spell another down for Satoru. He's not even with it. Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I guess fairly clean game by Sizz, but I can't really say too much how it went wrong for our survivors, because I feel like they did everything fairly well, and Sizz actually finds a lost survivor here, so that's gonna just end this trial with this final chase. And yeah, now we have to try and get a 4k3 in the next trial. I'm not sure who plays killer for them, or M1 specifically, but it's definitely a tough ask. I think Gospel have proven themselves fairly confident and competent on the killer, and they'll have to, I guess, sorry, not on the killer, fairly competent on the survivor side, and I think all they need to do is just form again and secure the 2-0. But yeah, Hunter, I don't really know again what really went wrong here for the survivor side. It just seemed to have just fallen apart.
Classic Midwich snowball effect, Tavi. And we love to see it. Again, it's just it's just gospel, really. You're facing one of the best teams, OCE, and Clown Crew from SEA. You know, they're playing on ping, so it's going to be a little bit rough for them, especially... I'm not too sure about their experience in a competitive environment. I would have to do a little bit of a background check, but nevertheless, they are still versing some of the best in the OCE region. That being said, we're going to see what their killer can do. He's going to be having to meet the win condition of a 4K4 on a pig set, which is just... It's mind-boggling if you can really do that against a team like Gospel, but I would really love to see it if they could. Also, pretty in Gospel's favor, I will say. Fushi loading in to the into the mid-witch as the pig. You're going to be seeing our survivors spawn in, a few upstairs, a few downstairs. If we can switch back to Killer really quickly, we're going to see that they're going to be stealthing in the middle of the map. Tavi, what do you expect from this match?
Well, Hunter, I actually have pretty good hopes of Fushi. I'm not sure if 4K3 is, well, specifically on his menu tonight, but I've definitely seen him perform fairly solidly on Dracula. I saw him get some nice little wolf hits, so I'm not sure if he's expanding his territory to an M1 killer like Pig, but it seems like he is taking the responsibility tonight, as Cash does take the first chase, force the window block here, and play the 50-50 power, but Fushi's... what the hell? Fushi? Oh, okay. Let's get the dash coming off, and first hit fairly quickly, so it's nice to he can convert this fairly soon. But Nu's already gotten his head trap off, and that's actually a really big deal because Hunter, if you have a look at the add-ons here, Fushi has a 1 add-on difference from the last trial, which is, I believe, the gearbox, which will increase the time it takes to solve the head trap by a little bit of time. So that's actually going to be a big deal. He won't have a 5th head trap on, but yeah, Nu getting it off early is a really nice start for our survivors, because I think that is the idea here in the big sets. You want to try and get them off as soon as possible, but no, actually no. We've got some gen pressure already on the board, so maybe Gospel is just playing for top 3 gen.
Yeah, this is proving to be quite a lengthy chase, and the head-on coming in as well from, I do believe that is Stasi catching the pig off guard. Now we're going to be switching the chase from Cash onto Stasi, who will be taking chase all the way up to this top side of the map through the window at this filler pallet. Now going to be playing this, dropping it instantly and running around. Can we catch him off guard, Fushi? No, he's going to be able to make the window. Maybe no, getting hit. There might have been a little bit of ping. I'm not too sure. Maybe just a lengthy lunge, but nevertheless going to be still continuing on the chase is Stasi. He is running at the top 6 of the top 6 side of the map, and we do see the generators being worked in the process. Cash trying to get his trap off his head as soon as possible. Stasi going on a little bit of a juicer chase right now. The young controller player himself pre-dropping that pallet, but unfortunately getting caught and downed by the flicking Amanda, if you will. And now that is going to be the first hook on the trial. And I do say now we'll be reaching the Tycon. And it's important to know that Fushi has brought in the same, like, yeah, quite a similar build to Sizz in the last match, Tavi. So if we do switch back to the killer, we can see the perks. It is kind of a snowball build. There is no corrupt. You don't really need it when you're bringing this add-on into the game. The Eerie add-on that what is it called again? It's called videotape, right? Something like that. Anyway, when you're bringing it in, you don't really have the need for corrupt. It acts as corrupt in of itself, considering you'll either have to get the traps off your head, or you have to get your traps off your head at some point in time, usually at the start of the match. But anyway, nevertheless, going to be seeing I do believe this is Andrew around this table filler over at 1, getting caught, unfortunately, running upstairs to top 2. And now we're going to be going for another little chase around this top side of the map. Now, Fushi, I do think, has lost the game at this point in time. I do believe in the background there will be that last generator being popped while the others try and get their traps off. I do think Nu will just be sitting the generator trying to make sure that they secure their win con. Nevertheless, we're still going to be taking this chase over the top 3 side of the map. And what do you expect from this chase, Tavi?
Well, Fushi did play that really, what do you call it, nervously, I think is the word for it. He just like doubled back and really didn't show the power of the pig in action. But Andrew got to stun through this top side power, and it should be able to make distance. Actually, I think this bot side, whatever, screw me over. I don't play mid-wish that often, and I think it's gonna allow our other survivors to convert into either another generator, of course, or the head traps being taken off. But definitely, I'll have to agree. Like the build change here, I kind of like it. Kind of investing a little bit more into the passive slowdowns of Sloppy Butcher and the Pain Resonance, but Pain Resonance, as we did see just like on that first hook, doesn't always get a lot of value, and Cash doing a very nice job of shift teching this window. Unfortunately, it gives chase here, but it's still going to be a nice amount of time to be wasted here on this window. So he's going to just take a surprise M1. It didn't fall back. Maybe try to big chase there, but yeah, Survivor's still on a really good track to go for this additional generator pop. Actually, they might... Hunter, do you think they might just like let the head traps pop and just like pop the generator?
Yeah, potentially just secure the win con. I know Cash loving these windows and the pallets as well, just like looping around them very effectively, very nicely. Loving the god windows, sorry, rather. Anyway, dropping down to bottom 10 now. And I don't think I did... oh, oh. Okay, going down at that pallet, unfortunately, is Cash. But I was going to touch up on the build a little bit more. We did see the pain res, and you did mention pain res before. Yeah, it's a funny one on Midwich, you know. This might be able to secure him the Tycon if he can put enough pressure on the board, but without anybody having any party hats on, I just don't see it really happening, Tavi. Do think there will be enough pressure to facilitate the win con, but nevertheless, we're going to be scouring the map to see if we can find any more survivors now this top 12 generator being worked on. And yeah, I just don't really agree with the pain res on Midwich. Unfortunately, with the pain res spawns and whatnot, just doesn't really make any sense in my opinion. So we are sacrificing that for brutal strength, and I don't believe it. The Pentimento was the other perk that that is quite different to this build. So the only things that are quite similar is Ruin and Undying, and we have seen both gone from the trial. Speaking of Ruin, now dropping this pallet over at top 1, we're going to be seeing Andrew take this chase all the way down to the top 5 side of the map, but Fushig not going to have any of it. He's trying to really play for these tags and play around these generators to secure the Tycon, but in all honesty, there is so much pressure on this map right now, so much pressure on the generators, that it's going to prove to be really hard for him to make sure that he secures it. I just don't really see it happening. Yeah, what do you think, Tavi? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think the only way Fushi can come back from this is if someone pulls off a Sizz, like last Blight trial, and they just pull a disconnect out of the pocket. Even then, they'd have a little bit of trouble because Fushi, again, really only has the pain resonance and I guess Sloppy to work with here. Does grab a nice tag here onto Andrew, who's trying to protect Starzy, or is it Starzy protecting Andrew? But yeah, even with like just a couple of additional health states, I think our survivors are always going to be able to pop another generator. Oh my god, that was really nice stun there from Andrew. Just being able to delay the chase for even longer. But I think that another tool is going to happen. There it is. That's up 12 popping, and that's going to be the 2-0 for Gospel. So yeah, I mean, definitely Clown Crew put on a nice show here in the pig, but it just wasn't enough. Fushi definitely had task ahead of him for this 4K3 Tycon, but I guess that's credit to the survivors of Gospel managing to do a brilliant job here on the Midwich Elementary School, and I think we might actually be seeing a lot of stages coming out the door here, Hunter, like you predicted.
Yeah, like Sir Smonk says, it was a very tall order to meet this WinCon, and it just proves how well that Gospel play around the situation they're given, around their own pick. They're just absolutely crushing it right now. If we do look at the score real quick, we know we have 3 hooks on the board, which is Andrew, Cash, and Starzy. A little bit of a spectator bug there. Nevertheless, we'll be breaking the pallet over at bottom 1 now, kicking the gen at bottom 1 and breaking the door in bottom 1. We're just going to I think maybe we might try and tunnel Andrew off this hook, or just try to secure him in the second stage at this point. Cash coming in for the save, coming in hot. The other 2 in the background working their generators as they should be. Killer kind of stealth around the map. I think they're in chase with Nu at the moment. Can we get a quick switch around to where the chase is? Spectator, thank you very much. We're going to be using that bottom 2 pallet as well, and now running all the way up to the top 1 side of the map, and taking a little bit of unorthodox pathing is going to allow us to make the gold window our top 3, and Nu just having an absolutely generational chase at this point. I say chase, but like the killer isn't even at chase at this point. And we see Cash coming for the body block as well. I dare say this is going to be really, really, really rough for Fushi here, as we see the other generator proc in the background. There is only one more to be finished. There is bottom 2, and I do believe the other generators on the other side of the map we can't see at the moment because we are still in chase with Nu. Cash taking that body block, and Nu just pre-dropping the pallet over in the hallway outside of bottom 10. And we see the double over at bottom 2 as well. There are still resources to be used on the map. This is really crucial and really good for the survivors over at Gospel. Cash getting caught out. Unfortunately, no God pallet to work with, but running up to the top 11 side. Now going to be playing this little mind game with the flick commands up, but no, just leaving them. Leaving that pallet because he knows, he hears the sound cue and he knows to just leave it. He just knows not to play that 50-50 and just making that pallet as well. Cash is having the chase of his life. And now, still 3 stages, still 3 fresh hooks. I dare say we're looking at probably a 6-stage game, 5-stage game, Tavi.
Yeah, I mean, Cash going down here, I think on the pallet, unfortunate ping coming through. There's the classic little 70 ping trick that people like pulling out of the bag. But yeah, securing 5 stages here. They'll actually play for more, because of course Noah's not going to be allowed, and they can definitely pull off a 2-man rescue, or of course 2-woman rescue here on this bot side, I believe. No, top side. Sorry. But it's gonna be a basement, so I think they might just take the outs in this situation. But yeah, really nicely done. I did want to make a joke about the pig being their pig, and there's a bit of like a running joke in EU that they pronounce pig like pig, and yeah, but that's not really that funny. But it seems like they're going for the escapes here. They're trying to go for this unhook onto the basement, which is undeniably risky, of course, because you know, you could just give away extra stages, but I mean, at this point, nothing to lose, and I guess it's also a bit of like a training for them. You know, maybe if there is going to be a serious match, they do need to get somebody out of the basement guaranteed. Then this is perhaps going to be a little bit of a test for them. So, I'm not sure how they're going to approach this. Of course, there's only one entrance, and the pig can kind of like block it kind of nicely. So it is a bit difficult. And yeah, Nu's also going to give the tag away, so that's not really optimal, but I do remember quite a while. Oh my god! He snuck in. Beautiful, beautiful play. But it's up to the body box, and Cash slips through. I think we're going to be seeing a 4-stage.
So I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a 3-6. Oh well, I said 3-6, didn't I? I didn't really specify, but I did presume at the end of the game that there was going to be 5 or 6. But we managed to get Cash out of the basement, and that will be that. Once again.